If you're tired of being walked to the finish line, only to be left right there, you're in the right place. It's Half Street, Half Geek. Hello guys, welcome to Half Street Half Geek. I'm your host, Quindel, and today I just wanted to shoot an icebreaker pod detailing who I am, introducing myself to the podcast community, giving you insight as to why I started the podcast, on my early education, my background, what I do, where I come from. No, I didn't crawl from under a rock. I just wanted to let everybody know who I am, what I stand for, what I would like to do with the podcast, and where I would like to take the podcast. And if you will help me to do that, that would be great. I give premium information for free. It's not going to be one of these things where it's, oh yeah, I have all this information, sign up for my masterclass. If it's up to me, the information will always be free. The way I plan to do it is to take you through my process, what I had to do to get where I am, where I'm going, and where I'd like to be in a very, very near future. So walk with me arm in arm as I tell you what they want. So before we get started, and in order to bring you more content like this, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, comment, and share as much as you can. So, most of my friends and family call me Milk, or Milky was a name given to me, a nickname given to me from my late mother, rest her soul. So, watch your mouth about my nickname. But that was the nickname she had given me. It's a long story behind it. Maybe I'll get to that later down the line. Throughout the life of the podcast, you guys stay with me. You'll probably find it pretty amusing. So stay arm in arm and we'll get to that. It's a reason as to why I started the podcast. Well, what's your reason, Milk? Well, the reason is I was on a massive hunt, a search for very pertinent information as to how do I manage my business? How do I manage this company? I just started. People are telling me it's so prestigious to own and operate a company or a business or an LLC. People have all these ideas, but nobody was shooting it to me straight. So what I did was I started doing deep research. I read the books that gave me my insight as to how I should carry on from there. And from there is where I came up with how I wanted to deliver information to people. Initially, what I did was I went to YouTube University and I listened to a number of podcasters. Shout out to all the podcasters I listened to. But it was something missing. And what was missing was the fact that they can't really give you the play-by-play or the blow-by-blow as to how to start your company. That is something you have to come up with once you realize what the structure of your company will be, what will be beneficial for your company, how your company will operate, what state your company will be in. These are things that are very particular to your needs, and we can only reach those goals through consulting. Yes, I do have a consulting company. Yes, I am going to plug it here, Whitestone Consultants. However, I will tell you this. We started up in 2020 and we deal with strictly small businesses, businesses that need help, not already fortified and structured businesses. We help small businesses get the footing they need to catapult themselves into their goals in the future. And I say that to say we don't do anything major as of yet. However, later on down the line, we'll get into the services we provide in another pod. This is just the introductory pod. We're not going to get into that today. But that's what we do. That's why in creating Whitestone Consultants, I created it this way because it's something that needed to be done. So back to the point, right? The reason I started the podcast was I couldn't find all this information in one central location, and that's what I am going to provide to you. I'm going to tell you how to start up an LLC, what companies you can use to start up those LLCs, what companies you're going to need to get a logo from, how to start a website, get a domain, email accounts? Where should you send mail? How should you look to lenders? If they were to take a snapshot of your companies, when they go and look for you, do you think they want to search high and low as to what you are, who you are, what you do, what you stand for, what your financials look like? If you're secret squirrel about your business, a bank or a lender, a financial institution, I'm not going to say any, you'll get some hard money lenders. You want to get in tune with the big commercial banks, the big names. You want to get in with those so that funding isn't a problem for you. And when I say funding, you want to get to a point where not only your personal credit, which is very important. So anybody saying, oh yeah, you don't need your personal credit, you could just do this. That's cool. It's well and good. You need your personal credit. I know this for a fact because I have businesses, and no, we don't have to be the guarantor of everything. But in order to make a wave just starting out, just fix your credit. It'll help you in the long run. It is beneficial. I'm going to tell you what they want. 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 You need your personal credit. Protect it at all costs. By all means, protect your credit. Teach your kids to protect their credit because they'll need it. They're going to need it. We need it. You can't get funding without credit. It doesn't work that way. Back to the topic at hand. That's why I started the podcast. I couldn't find a definitive answer as to blow by blow, play by play, beginning to end, how to start a company. I'm talking about business name, Dun and Bradstreet, business accounts, funding, addresses, phone numbers, domain name, email accounts, things like that. Things you need to have your business look so legit and ironclad that the bank lenders and financial institutions cannot, they not only can't say no, they're going to want you. In that sector, you want to be wanted. You want people to want to loan you money, give you lines of credit. You want those things. You can't get those things if your personal credit isn't right, or you're just winging it, or you're just not structured correctly. I'm not going to say it won't happen and it can't happen. It can and it will. It has, and it'll continue to happen. But you don't want to be the loophole. You don't want to practice within a loophole. You want to be out in the open, clear as day, and you want those lenders to see, hey, we want to get this company funding. We want to give him funding. We want to give her funding. We want to give them funding. We want to see them flourish. That's what you want to do, because when you flourish, they flourish. They lend you more money, more lines of credit, more business accounts. They get it. They get it. Why don't we get it though? That's the question. Why don't they get it? Why don't we get it? Well, some of us do, some of us don't. The ones who will benefit. So that's where the podcast came from. It just came from me wanting more out of my businesses, from my companies, wanting to do more with my company, which is where I am now, cleaning up, fortifying my personal credit so that my companies and my businesses will not only be ironclad for me, but when I go to talk to my financial advisors, I'll be able to set my children up with the benefits of the company as well. That's why I started the podcast, to get information, thrive off information, and everything wasn't there from beginning to end. I had to piece things together, and then it was trial and error after that. So that's why I'm here, to give you the information wholeheartedly, genuinely, so that you won't have a problem going from beginning to end with the information I give you to start your company. Boom. That's where we at. Next. So, the podcast name, my late brother, rest his soul, he was fixed on the fact that anytime I had a problem in the house, I buy a tool. That's just what I do. So it was only right to assess where I got that gift or curse from. And that's just the upbringing of my family. Those of you who know me know the cloth I come from. The title Half Street Half Geek is one my late brother gave to me once I graduated college. He said, you got the best of both worlds. You have street and you have geek. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not out here glorifying street activity. I'm not glorifying any of that. What I'm saying is my upbringing brought me here, and what gave me a keen sense of awareness as to who I'm around. You need that. You're in business. You need that. You need to know how to move in a room full of not always the nicest people, not always the nicest people, not always with your best interests at heart. So that's what Half Street Half Geek has done for me. It allowed me to move and maneuver through life with this keen sense of awareness. As far as my early childhood, what I did then was I never forget it. So my oldest brother, he signed me up for football. Found football, fell in love with it. What I realized was why I liked football so much. And it wasn't so much that, oh yeah, you're good at it. I was angry. I was an angry kid. And coming from the inner city, being from Philadelphia, oh, it's a rough city. Oh, yeah, I get it. We don't need the story about it. It's just I was an angry kid coming from the city, single parent household. The neighborhood raised me, but they kept me in check. They kept me grounded. They kept me. That's where just the knack for football came from. It was just me being overly aggressive. Everybody thought I loved the sport, but I was just angry, but it allowed me to channel my anger, which grew into empathy, grace, and mercy for me to be able to bestow upon my friends, my family, just learning myself throughout the process is what football did for me. And boom, where did it land me? It landed me at Central High School. So my sister was always an integral part of my education, and she pushed for me to go to a really, really prestigious high school, Central High School, class of 263. Go Lancers. Central High School just taught me how to be dedicated, be driven, be motivated for higher education. It's where I found some of my best friends, and it was great. That led me, boom, to Lafayette College. Lafayette College recruited me as a Star Wars student athlete. Here we go with the self hype, right? But as a student athlete, Lafayette College recruited me, and there I went. Boom, off to the races, Eastern PA. So I go to Lafayette College. I was injured playing football a year and a half into wanting to go to the NFL. Big dreams, right? Yeah, I know. But wanting to go to the NFL, big dreams, big hopes, big aspirations, it ain't happened. Knee going, ACL, MCL, PCL strain, done. Cracked sternum, all because I did it to myself. This was actually self-inflicted pain over that year and a half. And I'll never forget the conversation with the doc and my mom in the training room. And he nixed the coaches and had a conversation with me and my mom. I had this corny Nextel shirt flip joint, right? And we put it on speakerphone, and he was just like, Mom, your son's gonna have to make a decision if he wants to play football or he wants to play with his kids, because what we're going to do is going to limit his mobility for the rest of his life. Boom, no brainer. Cried my eyes out, depressed, didn't want to do nothing. It was done. But my mom let me make the decision for myself. In addition to saying I want grandbabies, that was her thing. I want grandbabies. So football was done. Next, that joined some other organizations on campus: Association of Black Collegians, the Investment Club, the Brothers of Lafayette. I think it was one more. I can't think of what it is. I'll think of it. But that's what got me through college. It got me out of my slump. Again, that group I gave grace to, just being aware from when I was younger. Again, those things carried through. So when it was time for me to need them, they came through. That's how I made it through college. That's how I made it out of there. And I made it out of there with a very elite education. And later on in the series of podcasts, I'm going to tell you young folks, stop always looking at the bigger schools. Everybody don't go to the NFL. I know that's going to be a dream, that's an aspiration, and that's cool. And you can still get there. All you got to do is be amazing at your level. That's all you got to do. You just got to stand out to them so they'll see you. That's another conversation for another day. And then I left Lafayette College, had various jobs, not really working within the spectrum of my degree, right? My first year, I was an accountant, and it didn't really work out. It took a couple years, but it didn't pan out. Left there, did some other jobs, still not within the wheelhouse of my degree. So it was almost like I wasn't even using my degree. And then boom, it hit me. It was the prestige of starting a business, starting a company. So I did, and I started Whitestone Real Estate and Property Management Group. It was no problem for me to start the company But in figuring out how to manage it, how to keep it going, it was a lot. It was a lot. And it was just the prestige of starting a company. It was a no-brainer for me. So I did it. So after that, kind of went on, and then we started, you always got to keep two jobs. So, I had another job or two. In the midst of that, we started a detail shop. It was just bad timing for that. Um, Something you may see later down the line. We may revisit that, but it just wasn't the right time for that. I didn't have a streamlined focus with it, so that again placed on the back burner. That's business number two. So number three is Whitestone Alkaline Health. That was the business. COVID hit. I wanted to make people more aware of the benefits of some natural things like sea moss, burdock root, things like that. So I got into that. That lasted for a while, and then it physically became impossible for me to do because I didn't know how to staff the place. I was renting commercial kitchens just to make it so that it was sanitary, everything was good, because there's a lot of moving parts when you get into formulating things that people have to ingest. And so you don't want to sell that short. You want people to get healthy with the products you're supplying and remain healthy. That's the key. It was just too time consuming, and I didn't have the time to do that. It's company number three. So now, being at company number four, which is Whitestone Consultant, which actually powers this podcast with Half Street Half Geek, this is where we are now. As you've heard, there were many bumps in the road. I'm here to circumvent those bumps in the road for you. That's what we're going to do. And I just feel like God is good and he going to make a way. If it's something I need, it'll be done for me. So I'm not out here trying to take people's money. What bothers me a lot, especially when I tell people, oh yeah, Whitestone Consultants, we have a consulting company. And on my plate was to start fixing people's credit repair. That was on the top of the list for me. And then I realized it's going to sound crazy. How many people are trying to pay to fix their credit when they can actually utilize the funds they're going to give someone to fix their credit to pay their credit card bill? Just let that sink in for 1 second. You pay somebody when all you have to do is pay your credit card bill. That should make your wheels turn. And if you're, I'm not going to say that, but that should make your wheels turn. You're paying somebody to fix your credit when you should pay your credit card bill with the money you're using to pay someone to fix your credit. Bingo! There you go. You got it. That was on the forefront of my mind when I said, I'm going to start Whitestone Consultants. And I don't think I'm really there to do that yet. Only because if it's something that's tough for you to do, we'll get it done for you. If it's something as far as paying your credit card bills, ladies and gentlemen, pay the credit card bill. That's how you fix it. Let's fix it like that. That's neither here nor there. Later video. So I just gave you insight as to where I am now. Whitestone Consultants is off the ground. The website is up. Half Street Half Geek will be getting more into information about credit. We'll get into that. We'll get into funding. We'll get into the personal side of things, only because the personal side carries into the business side of what you want to do and where you want to be with your credit. Then you have the idea of funding. Not everybody needs it, I guess, but funding expedites things. It sets your goals right in front of you versus being in arm's reach. It puts them right in front of you and they make your goals come to fruition. So as I'm approaching my fruition, I want you to come on a journey with me, walk with me, and I'm going to tell you what they want. I'm going to tell you what they want. I'm going to tell you what they want. And I have no problem in doing it because it's transparency, right? So let's get it. Let's get it to that point where the transparency really rings true. So what my goal is with the podcast, you watching, eyes on me, my goal is to help you. Well, Milk, how you going to do that? I want to give you guys my experiences with a podcast every week, detailing what I did to get to and through a hump. That's it. It's nothing crazy. We building credit, building funding, getting funding, and building our future. That's it. So some of the things going to be boring but they're going to be beneficial. And I'm going to tell you when they're about to be boring, but I'm not going to keep you long, and I'm going to give you all the detail with the boring but beneficial. Nobody wants to sit around and hear that all day. Oh yeah, well, you ain't got no time. We ain't getting in all that. We're going to keep it upbeat. We're going to keep it live, up tempo, and we're going to tell you exactly how to maneuver through these streets, how to maneuver through the business, how to maneuver and make it happen. You hear me? So tune in next time. Next episode, we'll start a detailed version of how to start a company. I'll have everything detailed in the descriptions for you guys as far as where to go, get information, sign up for business accounts. Well, not yet. We ain't gonna get into business accounts yet, but get you maybe, because we'll get you set up, show you where to go to start your LLC, and then we'll move on from there, and I'll keep you updated every week. So until then, stay locked arm in arm with me. I'm gonna tell you what they want, and we out. So that's it. We out. We done. Not too much time out of your day for some premium information. I call that a deal. But be sure to come back here every week. I need you to mash the like button, mash the subscribe button, comment, and share as much as you can. I'm going to tell you what they want. I'm going to tell you what they want. I'm going to tell you what they want.